my heart, all over me, in my mind, in my soul, in my vote, makes me whole. I'm telling you, democracy is not for sale, burning with the justice. Come on, choir. I'm telling you, democracy is not for sale, not for sale, not for sale. I'm telling you, democracy is not for sale.
I worked last summer for 3 months with a local social service organization in Mumbai, India. In this work, I've heard the same story again and again in slums of Mumbai. The earning male members of most families, especially the factory workers, have no guarantee of work. One man explained that they were fired every 6 months, right before they would become permanent workers, so that the company would not have to increase their wages.
So we have organized unions in different assembling plants making products for American brands, and we organize poor peasants, landless peasants, women, student teachers, and young kids in their own neighborhood. So we are very diversified group of people working towards change.
It's interesting when you say sweatshops and you think of third world countries, you think of a high minority workforce, you think of deplorable working conditions, and you come into my facility and it's as bright as this, it's clean, we have a halfway decent workforce, but the trouble is when they talk to our people, we found out most of them, if not all of them, were injured.
The goal of sweat-free codes should be to aid workers and their allies in their efforts to defend their basic rights in the workplace.
This is what you guys and we guys can do when we all work together. And I think that's the key thing. It wasn't just the workers standing out there with a picket sign. It was people in different states that I've still not met who went out and said, look, you got to care about these little people, these little cap makers in Derby, New York. Let them save their jobs.
The shops in San Francisco are sweatshops, and it's because they're competing with prices internationally, and they're also just having a lot of difficulty in really being able to stay above ground. So basically, workers are getting paid about $1 to $2 an hour, and so what we bring to the movement is to be able to bring local garment workers that are working in sweatshops to this movement to have a voice to not only talk about things globally but also locally.
And so USAS is actually pioneering this new program called the Designated Suppliers Program, which you guys are going to hear more about. And the idea is that these sportswear brands are going to source from factories where workers have a voice, okay, where workers have a union, and that also these brands pay enough to these factories so that workers can make living wages.
Y lo importante de estos esfuerzos es que estamos construyendo la cadena completa, desde la organización de los trabajadores hasta la distribución. En la medida que se cierra este círculo, también el trabajador y la trabajadora común y corriente van a encontrar que realmente hay a lo largo de toda la cadena una gran cantidad de alianzas que soportan el trabajo y la decisión de ellos de organizarse y de luchar por un mejor salario y un mejor empleo.
Imagine the combined power of 50 states, hundreds of cities, counties, school districts, and religious organizations, all demanding the same high labor and environmental standards. Imagine students competing in sweat-free sports uniforms, police enforcing the law wearing uniforms legally made, and religious camps providing t-shirts made in accordance with their moral values. We have the power to change how corporations behave and to change the global economy for the better, but we have to use that power. We invite you to join us. Advance global labor rights issues by taking action locally. Define the target of your campaign. Do you plan to make your school, city, county, or state sweat-free?
But there's really one reason why we were able to pass that legislation in September and why I'm here today. And that was a strong, persistent, intelligent grassroots coalition that came to City Hall and basically demanded a sweat-free ordinance.
Sweat-free communities has been really helpful to us as a network as we've been building our pledge campaign, which encourages Jewish community groups to purchase sweat-free. And also, I think that we've helped out the network in a way. We've helped the local ordinance campaigns that we've worked on because as a faith-based group, we bring sort of a sense of moral authority. You know, when we have rabbis behind us, we kind of carry a little bit of moral weight.
And that product becomes two-dimensional on that shelf. You know the sin I'm talking about here, brother. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I forget that the human story of that product is not the celebrity smiling at me on the label. The human story may have no lawyer, may have no agent, may have no manager, may have no advertising representing him or her.
We had not only the sweat-free campaigns from the United States, but also from Canada and from Europe. We also had lots of unions, we had immigrant rights groups, we had some fair trade organizations, we had co-ops and other producers and businesses. And so it's really beginning to feel like a sense of unity in the anti-sweatshop movement.
It has come to our attention that our Guilderland School District has no policy regarding the conditions in which our school uniforms and school paraphernalia are made under. Our policy gaining recognition throughout the state and the country is a program titled Sweat-Free Schools. This program allows the school district to make sure all of the clothing and sports uniforms they buy are made under fair labor conditions.
My name is Marianne Tarowski, and I'm here today representing the Maine State Employees Association, SEIU Local 1989. MSEA is an 11,000-member union, of which the majority are state workers. And this workforce often uses and wears the products purchased by the state of Maine under this code of conduct as established by the rulemaking process.
By establishing a process for workers and human rights groups to file complaints against contractors, initiating discussions into the use of independent monitors to investigate complaints, and establishing clear penalties for workers' rights violations, up to and including the cancellation of contracts and the suspension of bidding on future contracts for a period. LD 1769 sends a clear message to contractors that if they want to do business with the state of Maine, they need to pay more than just lip service to workers' rights.
Make your city part of a consortium of cities, states, and other public purchasers that pool resources for investigating and monitoring factories, coordinate enforcement, and buy jointly from sweat-free factories. Separately, it is difficult for cities to enforce sweat-free policies, but together we can change the industry.
In my heart, all over me, in my mind, in my soul, in my vote, makes me whole. I'm telling you, democracy is not for sale. Burning with the justice. Come on, choir. I'm telling you, democracy is not for sale. Not for sale.